Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I have something cool for you guys. I am joined by Alexandre, who got in the top 32 with Drytron. Now this isn't just any Drytron decklist, this is a Drytron decklist without ultimateness or perfection. So this build does not focus on the gates, it does focus on DPE sight. So that is also a strategy that we are relatively we know that already. But it is cool that he tries to take such a different spin on it. And I found the decklist really interesting, and he decided to come on stream with me together. So yeah, we took a good look at his list, asked a couple of questions, and I figured that this would be very nice and interesting to show you guys. To show you that it doesn't really matter how much a deck is considered to be solved. It is never really solved, and there's always innovation to be had. So yeah, I'm gonna go to the interview right now. I realized that when we were just starting, this would make a very cool video, so we're gonna get a little bit of an abrupt start. But the interview started with me asking Alexandre, why did you pick this deck? So yeah, I enjoyed the interview. I thought it was very insightful. And yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below. Enjoy the video.
And I believe it has a lot of consistency and a lot of recursion too. Like you can get double hand trap and pass turn getting draw Nibiru. And if your opponent does not have enough gas to push through or to KU, then the next turn you're just gonna have one name and go off again. So I really like that aspect of the deck.
All right, all right. So you know that probably. Like, what do you think is the best deck of the format this right now?
I would say the top three decks for me are Sword Soul, Bird Up, and Drytron.
All right, that's a very based opinion. I love it. Um,
Yeah.
Due to the popularity of Bird Up, a lot of players have been picking up Drone Lockbird in the main deck. That kind of withheld me from playing this deck at the YCS. But you obviously didn't feel scared by Drone Lockbird. Why is that?
Yeah, Droll and Lockbird is obviously a big threat for Drytron because everything searches, and to accomplish your full combo, you need to search at least like 5 times in one turn. So, how can you manage with a deck that has so much ceiling to do a smaller combo? So, even if you get Droll, you can still achieve not full combo, but you can still achieve something to stop your opponent during their turn. So that was my question building Drytron for this YCS. How can you beat draw with the deck? Even if game one they draw you and you're not prepared for it, how can your combo just be doable under draw?
Okay, so I assume that's also why there's Foolish in there. Mystic
Yeah.
Mine is in there too. Um,
Yeah.
all right, yeah. So for those that haven't picked up on why this list is so special, there is no ultimateness in the deck, which is something that I do not think that we have seen this before. Is this something that you thought of yourself?
Not myself with these ratios exactly. I picked up the idea from an American guy. I do not have his name exactly, but he played I think it was regional or case tournaments,
Okay,
almost the same deck lists,
okay.
and that's where I picked up the idea. Yeah,
All right, and you like that a lot.
yeah. I always wanted to build Drytron mid-range version. I was playing Ultimateness with only one orange, or playing still with hand traps, and having this going second aspect still in the deck. And when I saw his list, I really liked the idea, so I picked up on it. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I heard from one of your opponents, which was really funny, that he played against you when I was talking about it on stream earlier, and he said that he like you beat him game one, like when you went second, and then game two he was prepared for like ultimateness with the dark rulers, etc. But then you just like side DP locked him. So did that happen often, where people just said after the match, yeah, I was not ready for this list?
Yeah. There was a very funny match against Bird Up. I think was round 4. I had a 2 card combo and I end on just the DP side with the Herald of Arclight on board. And then I go, draw phase, you pass priority. He was like, yes, you can go on. I used the effects, DP, pop site, summon the sites. And then he's like, thinking on the site effects, change droplet.
Hmm.
And he stood there like 1 minute thinking, how can I beat this with droplet? And then after the droplet, he did not even pay cost. He scooped it up because he realized there was no way he could stop the site with droplet. So that was a hilarious moment.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I have been I do not want to take credit for anything, but I was playing this deck when DPE came out.
Yeah.
But with Ultimateness, I played that in the deck. It was like the super high combo deck. And what I really noticed is that if you play Site DPE and Ultimateness, your deck still loses to the exact same things that your deck normally loses to. So it doesn't add anything. But this list focusing on the summoning the Herald before like at the end of your combo, so you cannot be dropleted. This seems like a very good replacement list. Do you think this is something that Tritron can build on more, or do you think that Ultimateness is still like very good?
So game one, Ultimateness is insane because if they don't have Droplet or Kaiju, I mean, how are they gonna go over it? Even Zeus cannot go over it. So game one, Ultimateness is definitely very strong, especially when they don't have Joel in the main deck. But game two and game three, the percentages of you achieving an Ultimateness setup, which means at least Ultimateness and resolving Eva or adding Eva of Ben 10, is pretty low. So that's why I did not consider playing the Ultimateness in a heavy hand trap format right now, or going second cards, because one Dark Ruler and your Ultimateness is just gone. You just have like orange Eva in hand if you had a good hand.
Okay.
So the Arclight dodges this aspect of droplets, Dark Ruler, Kaiju, Lava Golem, because you're gonna sight in standby phase.
Yeah,
So you're gonna
exactly.
dodge all these cards.
All right, cool. So yeah, then I'm gonna go into a little bit more card specifics. You said that this was not your list. I'm gonna try to find the original list to see if we can add some additional value. If I find that, that link will be in the description. So I'm just gonna ask you some questions and maybe you can answer them. And if you can't, then that's also completely fine. You run both Lancia and the site. Do you usually turbo to Dagda, or do you search sites in any way, or do you search Lancia in any way? Like, how does your usual combo go?
It really depends of how your hand is and how they hand trap you.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, if they don't hand trap you, you're going to add Lancia to your hands and set the site of Dagda.
Okay, so you do add the one of Lancia. All right.
Yeah. It helps you play around Call by the Grave, around Cosmic Cyclone, and things like that.
All right. Oh yeah, that's also, yeah. Oh geez, you actually completely mitigate the only thing that this deck then loses to it, which is a Cyclone or a Call by. That's insane. All right.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if you resolve the combo and you have Arclight on board, they
yeah, you can
always
just
need.
negate it anyway, of course. But
Yeah, they need two answers to decide. But if you have the Lancia, these two answers have to be like Droplet Chalice or some kind of this kind of combination.
exactly.
I just found the guy who
Oh,
got
okay.
the ID is called Roland Morton.
Okay, so yeah, you shout out to Roland. Yeah, definitely send
Yeah.
that link to me, and I'm gonna try to see if we can turn this into a video because I think this is very interesting to show. Okay, so then we see Benten and Idaten, and you're not playing Natasha. Is there any reason why you're not playing her?
So in the original version of the deck, I mean, it's definitely not the same list, but I picked up the idea from him to not play Ultimateness. He was playing the one of Natasha. And I personally never been fan of the cards, as I think when you resolve her, or when you can resolve Natasha, you're already in a winning position. Which means that's why
I had the exact same mindset until I put her in the deck. After that, my perspective on this deck has changed. So maybe that's something that you have to look for in the future.
Yeah, but I missed it once during the tournaments. I really missed it because I hard draw a ritual monster, and then I did not have the Surge of Alpha, and I negated the Winda, and just having the Natasha in the deck would have let me take the Winda and be able to link live into Borisov for game. So I missed it once during the tournaments.
Okay. And then we have Celestial Dasher. You don't own a copy of Plasma, or you think Dasher's better?
So that's my personal choice. I see a lot of lists playing the Plasma, and I get why, because you can technically summon it, and that's a good floodgate. But the thing is, when you summon him, one first reason, it loses to Dark Ruler Droplet the same way that Ultimate Knit does. Second reason is Dasher is actually level 6.
Yeah.
So you can potentially like tribute summon him over Drytron and special summon either 10 or Ben 10 from graveyard. Imagine you get drawled and you cannot add your diviner.
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
then from there make a Beatrice. So that's the second reason. And the third reason, which did come up this tournament, is when you play against Sky Striker or at least something that can banish your DP from the graveyard and like soft lock you for one turn, because then you force to summon. And if you play the Plasma at that point, you're going to force to summon Celestial.
Yeah.
And then you are not able to use Celestial effect the same turn.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's also a good point.
What happens is the guy shock cannon my DPE, and then I summoned the Dasher, and with Dasher I top deck Eva. I mean, it was insane top deck Eva. I still had Anaconda on board. I was able to link climb into Boarsword, and then use the Eva effect and so on. And on the same turn, I could still use the Celestial effect.
Nice. All right, that's cool. Yeah. All right, so yeah, 3 Diviner, 3 Alpha. Then you play triple Delta and 2 Gamma. We've seen when Drytron first was a deck, we've seen a lot of lists with only 1 Gamma and no Delta at all. Then we've seen Gamma being picked up a little bit more, but you're on the other side. You're playing triple Delta instead of the 2 and 2 Gamma. Any reason for that?
So Delta is a better starter than Gamma, I believe. Because a combination of Delta Alpha, a combination of Delta Zeta Diviner, or anything that is more than your 2 base name in hands, if you have like a third card which is playable with it, then you're gonna get a free draw during your combo.
Yeah.
And that free draw is what starts to create your advantage, or what gives you another name in hand and lets you play around Nibiru better, or lets you play around a Veiler better, I don't know.
Yeah.
But the cards does what it needs to do, tribute Ben 10, special summon level 1, plus give you a draw on top when your hand allows you. So it has somehow, going first, a better utility as your first 2 Drytron name you activate than Gamma. Because Gamma will make you play into Nibiru more, because you're going to tribute Ben 10 as your 4th summon. Like the Drytron name is going to be your 4th or your 5th summon. And then if you get Nibiru later on, you don't have the Gamma in graveyard to be able to play through it.
Yeah. All right.
So I'd rather start with Delta than with Gamma.
Makes sense. Actually makes a lot of sense. Seems kind of weird that we've been on this for so long, but Gamma is a very good card, of course. So yeah, for the rest is kind of standard, if I'm gonna be honest. Triple Emergency, 1 Fafnir, Nova, Foolish. Makes sense if you want to play around the Tron Lockbird. You play triple Droplets, 1 Fusion Destiny, not 3. Is there any reason for that?
So you want to make space in your deck, and I believe Drytron can use Anaconda so well that you don't need to play 3 Fusion Destiny. You don't want to open it. You rather have combo pieces, names, or rituals to tribute and be able to climb up into Verte in case you get hand traps.
All right.
Then hard opening it. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Mystic Mine would be a great surprise in this deck, of course. 1 prep, 1 Terra, triple Imperm. That all seems very nice. So moving on to the extra deck. Apollousa makes sense in this list. Docta, of course. Beatrice will only come up in game 2, or if you have like a hand that needs to play to a Drytron, right?
So Beatrice comes up in all your Diviner or Ben 10 plus 1 name, which is supposedly Zeta. So in all these hands, you need the Beatrice. And game 2 or game 3, when you side in the Eva, you can like make Beatrice early in your combo before you use Gamma, and then send the Eva and then force to Neeb there.
Yeah. All right.
It's a good utility card, but it's not as necessary to do it in the combo because you go for Arclight more often. It's more like a backup plan to do the Beatrice.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna play her anyway, looking at your side as well. And yeah, it's just like if you open Zeta Diviner, it's still combo. So that's, of course, very true. Right, Borlsword, TPE, Zeus, Downard, Double Fafnir, and this. Anything you missed in the extra deck, like an Access Code Talker, or maybe even the Chaos Ruler?
So the Chaos Ruler is pretty nice in the pre-pub version. I was playing it because you can go like Diviner gets negated and you have like a Benten on board or a Perfection on board, then you can go Chaos Ruler to dig for more names. But in this version, I did not need it. What I missed was the third Fafnir.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There were so many games, like against Shadow Invoked or against, not Shadow Invoked, just Invoke DPE Dogma or against Sky Striker. Like there are so many matchups where you have to grind with this deck because you're not putting up Ultimateness with 4 or 5 negates, then you have to grind. And then the third Fafnir would have come up like at least 3 times during the tournaments.
All right. Yeah. I can definitely see that happen. Fafnir is such an insane card. Definitely can happen. All right, cool. Looking to the side deck, triple troll. Gonna skip over Eva for a bit. Triple nip, triple cosmic. The other mines makes sense as well. Order as well. So you didn't want a main deck called by the grave. Any reason for that?
So, like 2 weeks before the event, hand traps were not popular, and you was trying to beat Dark Ruler or Droplets. And like the hand traps became more and more popular, so I was not sure if people will play 9+ hand traps in their list or will still play Board Breaker cards. So there was this middle scenario: do I play Talent in the main? Do I play Called by Talent in the main? I used to do that a lot before.
Mm-hmm.
But now, as this version somehow has less brick and more going second cards, if you get stopped, you are still going to do something with your combo because you don't need to do Ultimateness Eva to win. Now your win condition is making a League 2, activating an effect on board, Chain Dagda, then you make Anaconda. So even through draw, you can do that. I will tell you after. Maybe I'll show you also like the end boards you can do through draw. I can put the video and stuff because the deck doesn't lose the draw. So that's the thing why or Ash or things like the Called by the Grave was not in the main. But having it game 2 or game 3 going first, you don't spit on it. So that's why I put it in the side.
All right. And then the Eva and the orange light is in the side. When would those come in the deck?
So every time you go first, the problem with this list is Neeb can hurt a lot.
Okay.
If they're smart and they somehow get how you play and that you don't have ultimateness, they can hold the Neeb and really wait until you use Gamma or things like this. If your hand is not good enough and you can not turbo Palooza before using Gamma or normal summoning Diviner. So you need to force the Neeb early, and there is nothing better than that than Eva to do that.
All right. So then you do Turbo Beatrice in game 2.
Yeah, game 2 or 3, Turbo Beatrice, or like a very cool play you can do. When you combo off and you have like at least 3 cards to play, you can link climb into Apollousa. And then you normal summon your Diviner. You already use Dagda in your loop, so you have at least Bent and Dagda in your graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
Then you send Eva of Diviner. You use Eva effect, you banish 2, and then your Diviner is now level 3.
Yeah.
So you just need one other name to make Arclight from there.
All right. Nice.
So your end board is going to be Arclight, Apollousa, plus Sightlock.
Yeah. All right. That sounds very solid, yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it has multiple uses, the Eva.
Yeah,
For that reason, it's so nice.
makes sense. So you just usually wait with your diviner for a long while, right?
Yeah, when you need it to start, you can use it as a bait, like you normal summon diviner, and you if they have imperm, they use imperm on it, and then you have level 2 tuner to go into Arclight later on.
Mm-hmm.
Or you need it to resolve, then you just use it and send Arclight. Sometimes you don't really have the choice, you're just being interrupted, and then you need a diviner to resolve to make
Yeah.
Beatrice, something like this. It's really depend on what your opponent does
Yeah, exactly.
and how your hand is at that point.
And if you are just allowed to play freely, you usually just summon her and not use her effect to keep her level 2.
Game 1, yes. Yes.
All right, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so that was kind of the card by card. Is there any card in the deck you would change? Was there anything you're missing?
I think I'll definitely try the one of Natasha.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know about mine. Maybe I cut the terraforming and play 3 Gamma. So
Okay.
I have all names at 3. That could be something interesting to play. And yeah, that's about it. Lancea was insane. Droplets were insane. Maybe Imperm could be replaced by Tactic if we still see a lot of hand trap in the meta.
All right. Cool. I have one last question for you. There has been a very certain Drytron deck that entered the top 8. I'm gonna send a picture of it to you right now. I'm not sure if you have seen it. What's your opinion? I don't want to throw any shade to this guy, first of all, but I find his choices to be very unconventional. Oh, what do you think about this list, just looking at it straight away?
I mean, you see, I don't know exactly, 3, 6, 8,
12 names. 12 names.
12 names, yeah.
Yeah.
12 names in the list. I mean, when you have only 12 names in your list, you're relying on drawing like your fairy engine live. So somehow you're not like basing your line of play on the Drytron. So you rely on the fairy, and when you rely on the fairy, you get hurt by draw even more.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's my
for me, this list is losing to draw super hard.
what I've been doing recently is I've been putting the max amount of names in my deck because first of all, I just wanted the deck to be as consistent as possible and to always have something to do. And then I saw your list, and your list plays a lot of the consistency cards, and I really like that. Then I saw this list, and I was like, this goes against everything that I'm like thinking of in this deck right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's cute. It's cute to make a board which you just FTK your opponents. This is somehow what Drytron has been doing since it's come out.
Yeah.
But right now, like especially this take on the deck, I went into this YCS was the inverse in that. It's like you're not trying to FTK your opponents and playing like X amount of bricks, so you're able to resolve like a combo that almost always win you the game. But then in this scenario, your deck is more flexible. You're playing better through interruptions. You have a better going second. You have a better consistency. Like from my perspective, when you put both ways of playing the deck side by sides, there are like only one point where the full combo version is better, and like 3 other points where it's worse than the mid-range version.
Yeah.
So it helped me to take my decision when I put them side by side. I mean, I played both, so it gives an idea.
Right, solid. What did you lose to in the top 32?
To Shadow Invoked.
Oh yeah, that's a super rough matchup.
Yeah. I mean, it's not Shadow. I keep saying Shadow Invoked, but it's actually Invoked Tokuma Hero.
Yeah, with the Schism engine.
Exactly. Yeah, they just played the one Schism.
Yeah, that's that would, I think, honestly be the most difficult matchup for this deck.
Yeah, and the guy was main draw, I think. I mean, I played him.
Yeah, he played main draw. All the DP lists main draw.
Yeah, I played him round 6 and I got draw game 1. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then I managed to go into Draconids, and then I go Verte, and then he imperm ma Verte.
Yes.
And then I was like, what the fuck, bro? You insane? And then he opens up, that was game 1, yeah. And then he opens up Alistair, Fusion Destiny, plus Spot into Nadir. So
Oh, nice.
I was
Yeah.
like, okay, you can take this game. Yeah, and then game 2 I got Droll Nib, so yeah, it was
That's a
not
shame. Yeah, well,
not a
top
fair
32 is
match, I guess.
still like pretty huge. So yeah, big thank you to you for allowing me to ask these questions. It's been a pretty hot topic in the community lately that there are a lot of deck lists that feel solved. Well, in reality, they just are not, and this is definite proof that even a deck like Drytron, which seems to be set in stone on like 9 cards, right, is still like a lot that you can change about this. So do you have any shout outs you want to give, anything you want to say?
Yeah, definitely. Huge shout out to my team, Kingdom of Games, especially to Fabu, who helped me a lot. I would not have been going so far without him. Lulu, Matu, Gino, Adu, I forgot a lot, and a team from Yverdon, Bout Carton Gang, they will recognize themselves, Alex, Max, Jolan, Bruno, etc. Voilà.
Right. Great.
That's
Yeah.
it.
So not sure if this is gonna end up being a video, but if this was a video, I want to thank every one of you for watching. And yeah, again, huge shout outs to Alexandra, top 32, plays with the Tritron deck.